Welcome to Undiet Your Coaching Podcast. I'm Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist and creator of the Going to Beyond the Food method, and I'm on a mission to help all coaches undiet their life and their coaching business. Ready? Let's do this. Welcome back, my dear colleague. This is part 2. This is the French in me. Actually, this is part 2 of a 3-part series on when your client want to lose weight. This is something that all of us have faced. If you have not started practicing yet, you will face that one for sure, guaranteed, hundreds of times. So this series is designed to help you understand why this is happening and how to move your client through it. Now, listening to this episode first will probably make no sense. So you want to be sure that you listen to part 1 or podcast 46 before this one. I'm teaching over 3 episodes, 3 simple steps, a coaching process in a 3-step process to coach client when they want to lose weight. And that can be used either in a consultation or in a coaching package or in your program. I'm walking you through both of them. And so I named this process very simply, what is consent and what needs to be. Step 3 will be on the next episode. So in step 1, we walked our client through why they're thinking the thought, I want to lose weight. You've showed them how they're creating that thought, why they're creating that thought. That's the most important part. You've normalized the reason why they're thinking this thought and why they're thinking it's true. You've showed them that nothing is wrong with them. It's not their fault. In a sense, you created safety for them to have this thought that they need to lose weight. You've showed them how this thought creates their current reality, their current suffering, or the reason why, if you're in a consultation, they want to work with you, or if you've signed them already to work with them, why they're working with you. So now we're moving into phase 2, which is establishing consent. Getting consent from your client to explore how this reality that they're living through, the suffering they're living through, could be different. Consent also prevents any bypassing and any gaslighting. I know this is a concern for many new coaches or coaches that are coming from a different environment, coming to the non-diet space. There's a lot of concern around gaslighting and bypassing. That's why I integrated consent in the coaching process I teach, because we want to make sure that there's a consensual space between you and your client to move them through changing how they're experiencing their desire to lose weight. Now, I want to present it to you in 2 angles. If you are on a consult and you are not in a professional relationship with the client yet, asking consent will also come along with you explaining the coaching process, asking for their consent to be coached on their desire to lose weight. If you are in a professional relationship with your client already, especially if you are at the beginning sessions, like session 1, 2, and 3, which is likely where this thought will come up, I would recommend that you still ask for consent. You refresh consent, as we say. Again, to establish safety, to create even more trust between you and them, because the desire to lose weight for people identified as women is very deep. In a way, I like to think of it as a trauma. Their experience of their body in society has been impacting them and their nervous system, just like any other trauma. So asking for consent, refreshing consent, giving them the opportunity to not be coached on this if for whatever reason they don't think they have the capacity, is essential in order for the coaching process to actually give the result that you desire. Once you've established that consent or refreshed consent, then you want to move into using powerful question. Because a reminder for everyone, like I know we're all coming from different backgrounds listening to this podcast here and wanting to integrate the non-diet approach in our practice. But the foundation of coaching is fostering an environment where the client can trust themselves to find the answer to their problem. Coaching is not about us telling them what to do. That's consulting. So if you're from a background of dietetic, for an example, and you're coming to coaching, that will be radically different for you. You're not there to tell people what to do. You're there to foster an environment that people can develop self-trust in order to find their solution. And the best tool to foster this coaching environment is using powerful question. This is when we ask questions that are intended to guide the client to find the answer within them. We as the coach likely know the answer, but the process of coaching wants us to help them find the answer by themselves. So powerful question would sound like, very simply, why? Why is likely the question you're going to ask the most in coaching. Why? So what are you making that mean? What are you making that mean about you? What is your thought about that? How do you feel when you think this way? And I have a list of powerful questions that I give to my student, but this is to give you an idea of what powerful questions sound like. So let's take my most used question that I use with my client or anytime that I coach. Why? So that step 2 of the coaching process, once you establish consent, you then ask your client, why do you want to lose weight? And see what come up. Now, I share my story in episode 1 when I walked you through my coaching that I received about 10 years ago on my desire to lose weight as I was entering this latest 10 years of my life, this journey in the non-diet approach, and how being asked, why do you want to lose weight, led me to have a full bawling moment with my coach, because no one ever asked me that. And I was 40 years old at the time. And by that point, I had been trying to lose weight for 25 years. And no one has ever asked me that question. And I never asked myself that question either. That's why you need to ask a question to your client. They're likely, just like I was, never been asked this question, never reflected on it, because everything externally to them tell them they have to lose weight, right? So because we live in a brain that is not coached yet, that is very unintentional, we just obey whatever thought we're having that is driven by the external, right? So when you ask that question, allow for silence, because likely your client will be stumped and they may start crying like me. So you have to have good coaching skills to be able to hold that space for your client. So holding space is a part of coaching. Like I just want to make a side note. You can only hold space for other people as efficiently as you hold space for yourself, right? And holding space requires compassion. So your ability to hold safe, compassionate space for people to do the inner work of asking themselves why they want to lose weight will come through your own ability to hold space compassionately for yourself. So work on yourself and you will be that much powerful in your coaching with your client. So asking them why, holding silence, see what they come up with, and likely the answer they will come up with will be driven by external things like, I want to lose weight because I want to be healthy. I need to lose weight so I feel comfortable in my body, right? That's normal. Again, you have to be able to hold that compassionate space for your client to be able to tell you these things. And then your work is to coach them back to say, okay, so what I hear you say is that you want to lose weight so you can feel comfortable in your body. Is that right? And then they will say yes or no. So what you're saying is, what you want is to feel comfortable. You want to have the feeling of feeling comfortable, or you want to feel confident, and you think that feeling of comfort, that feeling of confidence will be the byproduct of you shrinking your body. Is that what I heard you say? Right? This is a great, such powerful moment. This is what we call mirroring, because you're mirroring what your client is saying to you, and they're probably never heard that said back to them, and they don't realize what they're thinking. Another way to ask the question, if they're not coming up with any reason why they want to lose weight, would be to ask, what do you feel will happen when you want to lose weight? Right? And they'll likely, again, give you something connected to the external, right? Which is okay. And this is when you can come back and show them that it's simply a thought error, a misunderstanding. Oh, I get it. You're thinking that you will feel confident because you're shrinking your body. Is that right? Fundamentally, the reason why any human, not just people identified as women, or anybody that wants to lose weight, the reason why humans want things is because they want to feel a certain way. What humans are seeking is emotions, is feeling. We are chasing in our most primal state 2 feelings. Safety, we're seeking safety, and we're avoiding danger, or we're seeking love and we're avoiding fear. So when people want to shrink their body, they think it's about shrinking their body, when in fact it's about feeling a certain way. And that's what you have to identify in that process, is what I call the underlying desire that motivate them to want, or that they are misunderstanding, or they're having a thought error that this feeling will be a byproduct of shrinking externally or looking better or meeting beauty standards. This is what we call coaching. If you ever wonder what coaching was, this is what I've just been doing with you over the last 10 minutes, is asking powerful questions, getting people to find the answer within them, and then showing them what they're thinking in the silence of their mind, and highlighting for them the thought error, or in our case, systemic oppression, like diet culture, how externally various social construct or system of oppression or trauma or past event keep showing up in their current thinking. Because when we're alone in our head, you and your client are alone in your head, you're thinking that all these thoughts are true because you've been with these thoughts forever, right? So you're like, well, that must be the truth. I've been thinking this thought for 25 years. It's not until you start talking through what's going on in your head with someone else, and that person is a third party, non-biased, independent to your current or past history, that you can see, or you can be shown, the thought error or the misunderstanding you're operating from that creates the suffering you don't want anymore in your life. That's what coaching is. Coaching is a process in itself. Intuitive eating is a process that Evelyn and Elise created, a 10-step process. I created a 5-step process for body neutrality. Coaching is a process on itself that gets layered on top of body image work, on top of food work. And it's critical to intuitive eating and body image that a coaching process takes place. Otherwise, what will happen is people willpower themselves to no longer struggle with food. Or they willpower themselves to, quote, love their body. They will use the same process they've been using when they were in diet culture, the willpower model. They will action their way through solving an emotional and mental problem. The problem with when you use willpower or you, what we call working from the action line, right? Anybody who's coaching habits, that's what you're doing. You're coaching the action instead of coaching the thinking and the feelings. When you coach from the action line, when you coach from the doing, the willpower, the change is not sustainable. The reason why the change or the transformation is not sustainable is that the errors in thinking remains with the individual, with your client. They will keep thinking in errors and they will recreate the suffering at some point. It may not be with food, but they will apply it to other part of their life, or they will continue to suffer in other part of their life where they're using the same thinking model. So coaching is very important in the other processes we're using in the non-diet approach in order to make our clients' transformation permanent, because we need them to find within themselves how to solve the problem, the suffering, so that they can continue to solve problem and suffering throughout the rest of their life. So let me recap quickly. We are in step 2 of the process. Step 1, we helped our clients see why they're desiring to lose weight. We normalized their desire to lose weight, and we show them how this desire to lose weight, the way they're thinking about losing weight, is creating the suffering that they want relief from. And in step 2, we establish consent to coach our client in consultation or in coaching session and show them why they're truly wanting to lose weight, the feeling they're seeking. We are going to dig down and ask them powerful questions so that we can identify what they're really trying to get after through externally shrinking their body. We are explaining them their thought errors, their errors in thinking. We're showing it to them. And then once we've identified the why and what they're really chasing, if you want, then we're going to move into step 3, which is to show them how to create these feelings, this emotion, without having to lose weight or to shrink their body. And that's going to be next episode 48. I'm just looking at my show note right now. So episode 48 will be the next one. So until then, I would suggest that you're practicing being consensual with yourself. I gave that to my mastermind group 2 weeks ago, I think, and they were blown away with the power of this exercise. And I'll tell you why. We don't ask ourselves consent. We just do things because we're in a hurry. We have urgency. We just want to get things done, and we pursue action in our life without taking the time to ask ourselves, do I really want to do this? Do I want to do this now? So when you start coaching, truly coaching your client, and you have to ask for consent, it's going to feel awkward for you to ask consent when you never actually stop for a minute and ask yourself consent, right? You will not feel comfortable asking client or reminding client of being in a consensual coaching relationship with you when you don't do it for yourself. So that's the homework I'm going to give you, is to start asking yourself for consent. Like in the most mundane moment of your day, whatever, be it in your business, in your thinking about your relationship, wherever there is like a discomfort or suffering in your life, ask yourself, like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to think this way? Is that what I really want to do? Do I give myself consent to do this? That will help you bring consent in the forefront of your awareness of your prefrontal cortex, and it will remain there when you coach your client. And it will be more comfortable for you to ask for consent. I'll see you on the next episode where we'll talk about how to create the desired feeling. Ready to shed diet culture from your practice and help more clients do the same? Awesome. We've got 3 resources to get you started. Simply go to stephaniedodier.com/pro series, all in one word, and access our 3 free training classes that are currently available. We also have a free PDF guide to intuitive eating, an article about the non-diet approach. We also offer a variety of paid programs throughout the year to support you in your journey to undiet your coaching practice. Join us at stephaniedodier.com/pro series, and I'll see you on the other side.